Both rear wheels are kind of floppy. We ain't going down there. There's a cop there. Got off a roaring. That didn't look bad.
Still ugly. Those with low standards.
So this is what happens when you hold your hand up too long at the auction. You buy rough neons. But seriously, I went to the auction with the intention of buying the cheapest car there to see if I could buy the cheapest, roughest car at the auction and turn a profit. So we'll see. The auction is a local auction, public auction that anybody can go to. So sometimes I can get some pretty good deals there and sometimes not so much. I fear that this time may have been one that's not so good. But I committed to buying the cheapest thing at the auction to see if I can turn a profit. So we'll give it a try. It is a 2000 Neon with 213,000 miles. So it did drive here from the auction. Not well, mind you, but it did drive here. So that's a good sign. I'm not really sure what to do now. I don't know how far to go with it. I don't know whether to just fix the mechanical problems and the safety issues and then just see if I can make any money at it, or to do some of the cosmetic on top of that. So why don't we walk around it and get an idea of how bad a shape it's in. So it had a company name on the side that I took off before I started filming because the auction told me they thought it was a seizure, a police seizure. Now they didn't say why it was seized and I didn't really ask. So I have to assume it's maybe a DUI or something like that. So as you can see, it used to be this color, but somebody spray painted it black and apparently used it as a company car for some kind of construction business. I don't really know what they would do with it. Maybe they drove it around to give estimates. I don't know. Maybe it's cheap on gas, but so I wonder what the tires are look like. Oh, the tires are pretty good. Yeah, they're in good shape. Back one's in good shape. So it is a little rusty. Not too bad. So it may have come from up north somewhere. It's a little rough. Apparently it had a spoiler on the back at one point. That's no longer there. It's not beat up horribly, besides the paint. Headlights are pretty dull, which we can fix those pretty easy. Both of them are. Not really sure about the sticker on the hood, or why there is a Bobcat sticker on the back. So I assume it was some kind of construction or dirt work of some kind. So let's take a look at the inside. It's not bad. Not bad at all, really. It's dirty, but it's not tore up. All the doors open and close. I mean, I've definitely had worse. Still a little dirty. It's not tore up. Those are a few parts I have already ordered for it that we'll go over in a minute. It is a 5-speed. It's got a fine looking aftermarket radio in it. Besides dirty, it's not that bad. At least it's not torn up too bad. The driver's seat is a little worn. It's got a little, small little hole there. Another little hole. But 213,000 miles. And let's see what's under the hood. I don't remember what size motors these things have. Oh, it's a 2-liter. Not horrible under here. Well, I'm going to assume the air conditioner does not work. Somebody's put a fancy cold air intake on it. Can't imagine why, but okay. Now I did notice that the shifter is really sloppy. So, I don't know if you can see, right there is the shifter and the bushing is completely gone. Let's take it down the road and see how it drives. Door handle needs a little work. No check engine light. Airbag light works. Seatbelt light goes out. Shoot, this is a good car. I don't believe that works. Not really sure why it's still beeping. Some kind of unsettling noises up front. And there's a little bit of a noise in the rear that will get louder, and pretty soon you won't be able to hear yourself think. I know I got up under and looked, and both rear wheels are kind of floppy. Let's get a little speed up. That front popping and cracking's a little scary. It's a little hard to drive a straight shift and hold a camera. As you will see in this turn, it's a little darty. It makes several unwanted noises, and it on left-hand turns it actually gets quiet. On a right-hand turn only gets worse. It's got all 5 gears. It's really jerky. It kind of feels like a forklift. So I think the rear suspension is really worn out. Well, we ain't going down there. There's a cop there, and I don't have a tag on it. We'll just mosey on down to the next road, circle around, and go home. So the first thing I need to do is fix that. I had to put those battery cables on it just to get it home. And the battery's not bolted down. It doesn't fit, and that's too short. So this one is okay. But that one, I'm not really sure what's going on. It seems to be wore out there and that bushing. Oh, that pin's about backed out. I wonder if I can get lucky and knock that pin back in. I tried to find a bigger hammer, but I couldn't. Let me get something else to beat on it with. I wonder if I can get lucky and just squeeze it in. Nope. I'd like to get it a little more, if I can get a hold of it some way. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty tight now. Let's hope the bushings I got are the correct ones. They don't look like it. Yeah, maybe they are. Nah, I finally got it together. Come here. Don't be running off. Alright, come in here a little closer. So I managed to dig up a bushing and a washer that I think is pretty close to factory, and a clip. Now we'll lengthen these battery cables. If you're wondering why I'm doing that, it's just a heat sink, just to try to draw some heat out of there a little faster. Looks almost professional. This is the best way to get a really good solder joint, is braid them together just like that. Then, for those of y'all that don't know how to solder, it's really not hard, but there's a few things that makes it a little better. And that is, I generally heat from the bottom. I'll put just a little solder on my soldering iron, just as, again, kind of a heat sink. Put a little pressure on it and be patient. Because you don't heat your solder, you heat your wire. So you got to heat your wire hot enough from the bottom that it's hot enough all the way through that it'll melt your solder on the top. See, just like it's starting to. See there? Now if you do it that way, if you heat it on one side and put your solder in from the other side, it will soak all the way through the wire. So then you know you got a good solder joint. Now, that is a really, really good solder joint. If you'll take your electrical tape while it's still good and hot, well, not too hot, that's too hot, it's melting the tape. But if you will, put your tape on while it's hot, it will melt to that joint and you can't hardly get it off. You got to take your knife and scrape it off. There's your quick $2 lesson on soldering wires. And I know that this is a GM battery, but it's what was in it. I know it's supposed to have a top post, but it doesn't. So the shifter's fixed and the battery's fixed. Now, let's see what that god-awful roaring in the rear end is. That didn't look bad.
Oh, it's the bearing.
Whoa, it's the bearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure is. Let's see what the bushings look like too. So we can put bushings in it and put a hub on it and we should be good to go. Come on, come on, come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. When the wrench doesn't work, you get the big hammer.
There. Look better? Maybe.
Looks better than it did.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a bolt.
Tight. It's probably over there on the table.
Probably. I'm just hoping it wasn't.
Yeah.
Smooth. All right. I don't really know why they had spacers on it, but we'll put them back on there. I don't know why, but we will. All right, we'll put everything up and we should be good. Take her down the road and call it fixed. This thing already drives much better. Quiet as mouse.
It's still ugly.
Yeah, it's a good car now.
Those with low standards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good now. Drives pretty good. No noise.
Do the window washers work?
Now you're asking for a lot. Well, the wires work. Don't appear to.
No fluid. All right. Let's just drive it dirty. Oh.
Shoot, this thing's good enough. We might have to paint it now. It really is pretty good now.
Yeah, actually, it's not bad. All kidding aside, I don't hear that noise at all anymore. Not bad at all. All right, so that was probably the biggest mechanical thing to get fixed, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know that there's much more than that to be done mechanically. I mean, it really does seem to run and drive pretty good to be as ugly as it is. Turn signals work. Both turn signals work.
Bonus.
I think the radio works too. Maybe. I had it working once. There we go.
Even outside the conference.
Yeah,
So I think that's.
There's been times in my life I'd be happy to have this car.
Wow, that sounds like a sad life, dude.
It's fun to revive a junker. Keep it out of the junkyard.
Yeah,
For a little while.
somebody will need it.
Yeah.
How the brakes feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how I do it. I take a little bit of dishwashing liquid or something just slick and 2000 grit sandpaper. I don't like to use anything rougher than about 2000 because the more harsh you get, the harder it is to get the scratches out. This is just like a scratch remover. I buy it in a big bottle, so I put it in this. You don't really have to have any special equipment.
I've heard some people use toothpaste for this step.
Toothpaste is basically, it's got a little bit of grit to it.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same as this. This is like a rubbing compound to get out like really fine scratches. So toothpaste does about the same thing. Let's see what it looks like. Sometimes I have to do it a couple times.
Wow, that's looking so much better already.
And it's that quick. You can compare it to the other one.
Oh yeah, that one's really cloudy. And this one was just like the other one over there, and that looks really good right now.
Yeah, and it literally just takes a few minutes. You can get like a cheap one of those at Walmart or Harbor Freight, and a little bit of rubbing compound, and that's it.
Nice. All right, there's one other place that really needs some sandpaper. That is ugly.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes care of the, like we said, the mechanical stuff, the major mechanical stuff. So now I think it'd be cool to just listen to what the viewers would want to see. What should be done with the rest of this car? Should we make it pretty? What kind of things would you do to it if this was your car and you were going to flip it for sale and make a little bit of profit on it? What would you prioritize in terms of doing to this car? So if you have thoughts, opinions on that,
Please let us know.